Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Rough episode number 121. Thank you for making us a part of each and every one of your weeks on Sunday and Thursday evenings. We are live November the 9th, 8 o'clock, and we have Leah with us from Hooked on Friends. We had her on, it seems like forever ago, but it wasn't too long ago. And we've just kind of scratched the surface when it comes to talking about Friends. And of course, Darren, thanks for being on as always. And just want to check in with both you guys. I know we kind of talked a little bit offline, but life good? Everything's cool? Awesome.
So I had one of those weird days, if I can share with you quick, and it has nothing to do with my age, folks. Maybe it does, who knows? But so I go to church this morning, right? And I come back. I bring the family home the little breakfast sandwiches, right? So it's like, I don't know, 9:45. I go upstairs to sit down and keep reading the book I'm reading, which is very good. It's about Tupac Shakur, the artist who was gunned down, because the author is someone I know. Anyway, and then it's like, I don't know, 10 after 10, and I'm supposed to go to my nephew's house at 1 o'clock to watch the Patriot game. And next thing I know, it's like, it's 1:10. Where'd the time go? I fell asleep. I have nothing to do with the book. I didn't even open up the book. And I was like, where'd the time go? I must have been that tired.
Yeah, today was one of those days where like I felt myself needing that like 30-minute hour nap, and like it was not like the circumstances were not allowing me to do so. So I had to like just move around and do all that good stuff. I had to, like, otherwise I would have been out for the count and I had a late meeting to go to. So I'm just on fumes right now, but I'm excited for this. So this will be the last part. And guys, we already have a double-digit viewers. Looks like 15 of you guys already on. So thank you for there. Darren, welcoming people in. Michael, glad to see you. Laura is here with us as well. Mom has been super excited, probably the most excited about anybody to be able to see what we're going to talk about and see if she thinks she knows how many boyfriends and stuff. One thing I'll say out there before we get into that, because we're going to welcome our sponsor and all that stuff, but this is going to be boyfriends shown on the show. We're not like, there were a couple people had mentioned that she named names. We're not going to worry about them, just for the record. So you don't have to worry about trying to remember name drops and stuff like that. But the first thing, before we do even anything else, even before the sponsor, want to share this at the bottom. We just hit 3,400 subscribers. Thank you all so very much. That is fantastic. Just in a short amount of time, we went from 3,000 to 3,400. So super appreciative of that. And so, of course, you know what that means. Never stops. 3,500 is the new goal. So please hit that share, subscribe, turn notifications on, and hit that like button really hard, if you wouldn't mind. But Darren, before we get into the fun stuff with Leah, our very special guest, can you give us a few words from our sponsors over at Nashville Tax Solutions?
In Palm Bay and Fort Pierce, our tax problems weighing you down. You behind on some filings, maybe facing a lien. Nashville Tax Solutions is here with the expertise and dedication that you need. Their experienced team handles the IRS so you don't have to. But don't just hear it from us. Clients do say it best, such as Chris Bennett and his team turned a nightmare into peace of mind. They're sharp, they're honest, and they truly care. So don't let tax stress take over your life. Call 855-627-4829. Visit NashvilleTaxSolutions.com or email info@NashvilleTaxSolutions.com today. Nashville Tax Solutions, real help that brings real results. Back to you, Leah and Mike.
There's no bigger fan. Leah, haven't got to meet this guy, but this is our official mascot.
I was going to ask about him.
Tax Solutions. So he's here with us as always. He's recovered, Darren, from the last episode. He's
yes, and can we ask, because I know one of the reasons that we wanted to have Leah on today is because you said she's an expert on mascots and stuff. Leah, well, why doesn't Penitent Bear wear pants?
I don't know where he got this information. I'm a pro on mascots.
But there's no pants.
You know what? Why doesn't Winnie the Pooh wear pants?
I don't know. And you know, we're going to talk about Friends tonight. One of the funniest things that Chandler ever said was why does Donald Duck not wear pants, but when he comes out of his shower, has a towel around his waist?
Great question. It's a great question.
Yes.
That's
And-
cool to segue, folks. See what I
right?
just
That
did?
was amazing. Yep. You didn't even know we were gonna go there. That's awesome. I have to ask this first, as a avid Friends watcher, Leah. So before we get into our episode topic and all that stuff,
Mhm.
in 2025, what is your like regular routine in terms of Friends watching? Like, is there cycles where you watch it more than others? Do you have like a 3-month spell where you don't even put it on? Like, how often are you watching the show?
Yeah, I feel like I don't watch it as often as I used to, but like there's sometimes I just kind of get like almost like the itch to just watch it, especially if I just want something where I don't really have to think too much about it. I am probably going to start watching again a little bit more because my one coworker, she is doing a Friends rewatch. And at one point we were kind of doing it together and then she kind of got off I got off of it. So we're gonna kind of go back together on it. And it's so much fun to watch it again. And she keeps updating on me where she's at. So now it's making me want to watch again with her. So I might get more into it soon.
Oh, super cool. Darren, I'm going to have you steer this for just a quick second before we start because my charger was left in the other room. So I'm going to grab that while you hold this down for just a second, and then we'll get right into it.
So, Leah, one of the things I don't understand is why he would park his car in the other room. Okay, bad joke. Charger, thank you, kids. It's a comedy buffet. Pick the joke you like. So let me ask you this. When did you become a fan of the show? Was it first run right away? I know we talked a little bit about this last time. Or did you really fall in love with it during reruns?
Well, I was like too young, I think, when it was like first coming out. Like, well, I wasn't born until it was like already in its third season. So I definitely wasn't watching then. But my brother, when I was 8 years old, my brother had a girlfriend, and my brother's like 9 years older than me. And he had a girlfriend that loved Friends. And she was almost like like a sister to me in a way. And so she's the one that got me to watch Friends. So I've been watching it since I was 9. And she had a couple of the DVD sets. She didn't have the whole box set. So for a while it was just watching seasons 2, 3, and 4. And that's all I had access to for the longest time. And then I remember as I was getting older, I would save up my money and I'd beg my mom to take me to FYE. And
Right.
I would buy a new, season and I would watch it. So it's been like a consistent thing in my life since I was 8. And then before I knew it, I had all 10 seasons, and that was I would just sit by the family computer and I'd put them in and I would just watch them like all day long. And it's weird because I feel like most kids that are 9 years old are like not watching Friends. But I was, and I would be like, I knew exactly when it came on TBS every time after work. Not work, after school, I'd get home and I knew when Friends was on TBS and I'd do the rerun. So it was mostly, reruns because I don't think I got into it till it was actually off the air.
So that actually dovetails into another question before we dive deeply into Friends, and Mike's back, which is great. There are shows, and I love that you brought up the fact that you were young when it first came out. There's shows that first run, even early reruns, you watch them and you enjoy them and they're really great, but then they seem dated. Somehow you put them on one day, it seems dated. Whether it's Gilligan's Island, for example, if you're my age, whatever. You can pick the show. You might have liked it in the first run, but you watch it again. It's like, ooh, it's very 80s or it's very whatever. But there are shows like Friends. There's shows like The Golden Girls that just kind of stand the test of time. Why do you think that is? What makes those shows so unique?
It's a good question. I think with Friends specifically, what I always say is that it's just a show that I think no matter what, you can relate to it at any stage that you're in. Like if you're before your 20s, you can say like, oh, that's kind of what I have to look forward to. If you're in your 20s, you're like, I'm going through that exact same thing, that exact same feeling. Or if you're older, then you can look back and be like, I remember that feeling so well. So I think and it's just a show that I think is just genuinely funny. I mean, I think that as time is going on, maybe the newer generation doesn't like it as much because they don't like laugh tracks, even though it was filmed in front of a live studio audience. It wasn't laugh tracks, but people don't like the laughter. And so like, I think sitcoms are kind of dying out. But Friends is just something, it has everything. It has like the romance, it has the funniness. It also has like some of the more serious topics too, it brings up. So I think it just kind of has everything. And it's also I'm someone who I like a lot of heavy shows, like the darker, more twisted it is, the more I'm into it. But Friends is something you can always just put on to be like, you know what? I don't really have to think. I can just enjoy it and laugh at it. And I know, I'm sure maybe you guys feel the same way. Like, I don't think I'm ever in a bad mood when I'm watching that show.
So you're trying to tell us you don't think there's anything dark about having your brother's baby?
That's just normal everyday thing.
Yeah, I mean, she said it like it was just like everyone was. No, but I think for me it was like with Friends is it's the mannerisms, it's the way it's delivered. Like they said it in the reunion show when Ross delivered the lines from the pivot, right, with the couch, the sofa. When you read that off the paper, it doesn't come to life unless you do it the way he did it. And so I think that's where other sitcoms fail in 2025 is that they just say the lines, but there's no, you can't look at his eyeballs doing what Joey's would do or Ross with his expressions so there's none of that. It's just they try too hard. And so I think that's why, because there's some stuff from the 80s, 90s where like, oh, I loved that when I was a kid. And then you watch it now, you're like, oof, that wasn't as good as I thought it was. But certain things like Friends and a couple others do stand the test of time. So this is gonna be fun, guys. We're gonna get into it. We are not counting down in terms of like the top 10 or anything. We're gonna go from beginning to end and just kind of share quick thoughts on this. So the first one we're gonna cover here. So this is season 1, early season 1 on. So not a very big character. Probably out of all of them might be the one we talk about the least. But this is Tony, and so Tony is not a great picture because he wasn't that important. So, but. He made an appearance in season 1. It was the one with the East German laundry detergent. I still love that episode to this day. Just the smack when the laundry door hits Ross in the forehead and he falls down and stuff. So I'll ask you, Leah, because this is a lesser known character. Any thoughts on Tony? Again, not a big character, not much dialogue there, but just want to share a little bit about Tony.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we really know like anything about him. All I know is that is one of the funniest storylines when when I was actually rewatching this a little bit earlier when Chandler wants to break up with Janice and Phoebe's like, oh, we can do it together. And he's like, I feel like we'd be ganging up on her. It's just pretty funny, but no, she's going to break up with Tony. And all she has to do is just talk to him for 2 seconds, give him a hug, and it's over. And then meanwhile, Chandler's freaking out in the corner, can't even talk to Janice, can't even get anything out. But I think that's as much as we know about Tony. Maybe
that's about it. Yeah, when you Google,
he takes breakups well.
Yeah, because if you Google stuff, it's the back of his head, it's his back. Like there's really that grimy photo I had is probably the best that there is out there. So, I
didn't even know. I didn't even remember his name.
Yeah, and the funny thing was because if you remember too, with Janice and Chandler breaking up again and again and again, it was like the most easy breakup ever. It was just like, oh, no big deal, we're broken up. Okay, move on. So,
and then Chandler even says, she goes, wow, that was really brutal. And he was like, or she said that was really hard. And he goes, yeah, the hug looked really brutal. Like it was just so easy for her.
Yes. So moving on a little bit more recognizable, this is Roger. So he just had the look. I mean, definitely doesn't seem like someone Phoebe would be into, but they went that route here with Roger. So just a quick little background on him. He was a psychiatrist in season 1. It was the episode with the what do we call it here? Season 1 episode. He was amused by the quirks of Phoebe's friends and starts cruelly analyzing their personalities. And so he was very critical, very judgmental. So, and then Phoebe eventually realized he's a nasty person and breaks up with him, but the group did not like him. And so, of course, with some of her other boyfriends later in the seasons, we find out that none of the friends care for him or his antics. So I remember just, I loved the character, but I was like, yeah, this isn't going to last for more than 1 episode. And that's the thing. A lot of these, they didn't last past 1 episode. And that's, you could just tell, so.
It was kind of just like for the storyline.
Yeah. And Darren, I know you said you recognized 3 off the top, like you can remember 3 in your head. So when we hit one of them, let us know it's that one. Of them,
I can tell you one thing about this guy, but when I say I remember 3, these are the ones that actually resonated with me. This guy just reminded me of somebody that is used as a launching point for jokes in a story, if you know what I mean. I knew this guy wasn't going to last. Condescending, and terrible.
Yeah. Just points out all their flaws.
Yeah. Who wants that guy around?
Exactly. I remember.
The show's called Friends for a reason.
Exactly. And he like accuses Ross of like having known that his wife was a lesbian and like having wanted his marriage to fail, and telling Monica, hey, be careful with eating that chocolate. It's just food. It's not love. Like, it's like, I don't think any therapist would actually say these things. He's just a terrible person.
And he seems surprised, like, how could they not like me?
Yeah. And then he like throws a tantrum almost where he's like, oh yeah, I'm a little bit relieved because your friends were so awful. They're whiny, fix me, need me, this and that, when it's like you were giving them unsolicited advice.
Yeah. And that's how you make your money, by the way, on people who have those flaws.
Mm-hmm.
Guy was a jackwagon.
Right? I wouldn't want to be like his clientele.
No.
No. Moving on as we continue on, so probably one of the most recognizable and actually recurring, which is not something we see of Phoebe's boyfriends. We move on to David. Of course, big story with David. He was a character. Not didn't see him every single season, but he was someone we saw often.
Him I run. Yep.
And that was her first serious love interest. It was called The One with the Monkey, which all the characters say was the least favorite cast member to work with, was the monkey. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, he's got to go to Minsk and try to find an alternative energy source, and didn't work out for well, so left her heartbroken. And but your thoughts on his character? I loved him. I thought it was a great fit, and it kind of suited her, her personality and all that kind of stuff.
I agree. And Hank Azaria is great. He was great to see. And I think I always liked David. I was never like, oh no. And it was kind of nice to have him back. But I think once, and I know we'll get into this later, but once Mike came along, I don't know why there was something there that I was like, this fits really well. And David and Phoebe, they were very nice too. But like when he comes in and he's like trying to almost like take Mike's place and like, try to win Phoebe back, it was like at that point I was like, no, I'm not really a big fan of him. But he was always, very sweet, nerdy, and they kind of balanced each other in a way.
Yeah, and that's a great explanation. Now, so interested to see. I'm gonna let Leah. I'm gonna show the photo. I'll say the name, and I'll let you kind of spearhead this next one, because this one completely didn't fit anything, but it was just for like a shock value. So this is Duncan.
Oh yeah.
And a good old Duncan. He was also from. He was actually in season 2. But it's a little bit unique of a person. But if you want to kind of go over that a little bit.
Yeah, he was. What did you say his name was again? I forget, but I do know
Duncan. This is Duncan.
Yeah, he was like that gay ice dancer that she had like married. Because I think like he wasn't actually gay and was like, he was pretending to be gay, and then I remember he almost has to like come out to her as straight. And he's like, in a way, I always knew I was straight. Like, and it's like, it's a very, very funny scene. And I remember he says, like, she's like, have you slept with women before? And he's like, in college, you're experimenting, and it's very funny. And I don't know why I can't quite remember why they were married though.
Right. Yeah. I think it was just like one of those things where it's like, oh, Phoebe, you have a roommate? Oh, Phoebe, you have,
yeah, but there was a reason. I just can't remember it now. Like it was so, and I forget that actor's name too. But he's pretty well known.
Steven Zahn.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I think he needed to be an American citizen and to avoid getting deported. I think that's what it was. Yeah.
And then he wasn't even gay.
Yes.
That's such a Phoebe move to marry somebody. Yeah, the escapades guy. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's such a Phoebe move to just marry somebody who needs a green card and is a gay ice dancer who is not actually gay. Like, I wonder how they come up with. Sometimes when you say certain things that happen in Friends, like what I was just saying, I'm like, how do they even come up with that? Like a gay ice dancer is not actually gay, has to come out as
like how did that stick?
And they get a green card marriage. Yeah, it's like okay, and it works. That's what's so great.
Yep. And then we have this next one, lesser known boyfriend whose name was Rob, not to be confused with Robert, which we'll get to a little bit later. But for those of you that don't know Rob, this is also season 2. It's the one after the Super Bowl. But what was funny about him, if you don't remember, was he was the one that would perform at children's library, and he would sing songs, and he just thought that Phoebe had all this talent, and so he invited her to go perform. And in Phoebe's fashion, she sings her songs in the most inappropriate lyrics, has no business being in the library, and she just continues to do so. And she just seemed perplexed, like, that's not okay. Like, what's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that.
Just got to tell the kids the truth.
Yeah, they need to know at age 4, what's
I love that Phoebe sees no problem with that too. That's what makes her character great.
Yeah, because to her it's pure. She's just, I don't see what's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, which children don't want to hear about death right in front? That's just
exactly.
Barnyard animals. No, let's talk about death and animals getting slaughtered. Like, it's just
and like your parents will die one day, and so will you. So good.
Yeah, but like Rob is a great example of, you knew that wasn't going to last because he's a very famous singer, and it's like, so you knew that he was just just a foil for a story. So
yep.
A boyfriend,
but then,
that
from there though, now I don't know if you call this an upgrade or downgrade or what, but it's a wild thing himself, Vaughn. So
yes,
this is Ryan, and of course we know him from Major League. We know him from that. What was the other show? The big comedy that was his big hit.
2.5 Men.
2.5 Men. Yep.
Yep.
And so Ryan, of course, if that wasn't one that you remembered, Darren, he's obviously but he was a naval officer, and he only had 2 weeks to be able to see Phoebe, and unfortunately for her, she got the pox, and so when he gets in, he's like, oh no, I don't care what you look like, I want to see you. And as soon as she takes the hat and everything off, lightning strikes, and she looks ghastly, and then he like freaks out, and they basically try to go the whole time without scratching and itching, and it was just a hilarious episode.
The oven mitts taped to their hands.
Yes.
I love that they did that lightning thing too, and he's like, the lightning, I'm sorry, it was a very unfortunate coincidence.
It's very interesting because this actually ties into something else, as we are talking about Phoebe's relationships, but it's a great example of, I was watching an interview earlier today with the gentleman that played George Costanza on Seinfeld. I forget what's his name. I forget.
George Alexander.
George Alexander, and he makes a great point. And a lot of shows do this. They're very wary about bringing in very famous people because it takes whatever quote unquote credibility of the show. You're just sitting there, oh, there's Charlie Sheen in a white hat, But Friends was able to pull it off. The writing was so good. That, I mean, Tom Selleck was wonderful in this show. He just, and we're going to go on. There's a couple of others. Is my favorite. It hasn't come up yet, and I was like shocked when he only had 1 episode. But
they also had Brad Pitt on the show too. Like that is even like, and that that one. I know this has nothing to do with Phoebe, but that could have even overshadowed even more because Jennifer Aniston and Brad Pitt were married at the time, so that could have been like way overshadowed. But it worked so well in the episode, and it was even funnier that they played on the fact that these two are married in real life, but he was actually part of the I Hate Rachel Green Club.
Rachel Club,
yeah, I
with the foreign
felt
exchange
like,
student.
Yeah, Tataka Kai Cat or whatever his name was.
But it's not easy to write for, just here comes Tom Selleck. Now you feel like you have to do all, like, for example, the people at Seinfeld really didn't like to have that. They had a few, but it wasn't very easy to do. But boy, did Friends just pull it off.
No, they did.
Yeah.
And like when sometimes you'll like hear a certain guest star that was on, you're like, oh wow, I forgot about that, and you just realize like how big of a star they actually had, and I never felt like anyone was upstaging anybody.
No, my wife and I, we've seen the episode 9,000 times. Again, it wasn't the scene with Phoebe, but when John Lovitz comes in and he's high and he just wants to eat,
So good.
and Jennifer Aniston's like. Save yourself.
Yeah.
We gotta make these.
I love that they
So
recast
good.
him twice because he was
Yes.
early in the show, and then of course later on with the horrible date with Rachel. That was hilarious.
That is so good.
Can't see how that could have gone wrong. But
Yeah.
speaking of guest stars, the next one we're going to cover, just as big, probably, of course, David Arquette. We've got Malcolm, and his character was interesting. It's very, very unique character, kind of a strange storyline there. But the premise basically of him, he mistakes, so he's stalking Ursula, her twin sister, thinking, and then basically he meets Phoebe, and then eventually mistakes her for Ursula, and they have a night together, and it's a whole thing. And so they try to make it work, but he's got binoculars and he shares all his secret stuff with her. And it just doesn't work out. But then in a Phoebe way, she breaks up with him, but still allows him to stalk her for a while. Just kind of
just to get it out of his system, I guess. It's like these ridiculous storylines, but you love it. And I love that they because we just talked about Brad Pitt being on, and that they just constantly have like because they even had what is his name, Tate Donovan, who dated Jennifer Aniston, was on too. I like that they like keep the partners of Joshua on. I like that they put them on, so it was nice to have David Arquette on there, her being like, he's gonna stop his stalking for me. Like she's so pure always.
Yeah, she's so happy with it. And shout out, thank you, sports fan, for the comment there about the 3400. We are very appreciative. Thank you guys so very much. Big deal, definitely. So we're very grateful for that. But we are here talking about Phoebe and her friends along the way, is what the header of the thumbnail was, the one with Phoebe and the friends along the way. So that takes us to the next one. So the next one we're going to cover, his name was Robert. So not Rob, but Robert. And the photo here captures the essence of his character, because
one of the best Gunther lines ever comes from this guy. Yes. Hey, buddy,
so
put the mouse back in
either one of you want to kind of take his description on, because
sure. He is a character that Phoebe dates that is constantly, as Chandler says, showing brain. Is that what Chandler said it? I don't know. He's like, the man is showing brain. And the way that I love too when Chandler, so he sits next to Chandler, puts his leg up, and Chandler can just see it. So he's leaning over, and Joey's like, what are you doing? Get back to your side of the hello. And he pushes him away. Exactly what he's talking about. It is a hilarious, like they did a great job with that one. And then Gunther coming in with that line.
He nailed it.
Nailed it.
I'm so grateful that Gunther got to be part of that finale, even if it was virtual. I know his health was deteriorating at the time, and so it was a great moment. But yeah, no, you're right. He nailed that. He nailed that line.
Nailed it. The way that nobody could say anything, and Gunther comes over with absolutely no shame whatsoever.
Yeah, put the mouse back in the house was
the mouse back in the house.
The words that he used.
And I think he even says, hey, buddy, this is a public place. Put the mouse back in the house.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, he did it just so nonchalantly. Like,
no problem.
Yeah. Do you remember him, Darren? Is this one that?
Oh, very much so.
Yeah.
That's an iconic scene.
Yeah.
We all quote that many times. And we've all seen similar type things at the gym or whatever. And you hear it. It's just,
it's hilarious.
True.
So funny. Oh, and then even when Phoebe finds out too, she's like, what are you guys talking about? And then she sees that she's like shocked herself and doesn't know what to say.
Yeah, it completely catches her off, like, no, that can't be true. And again, the friends are in on the secret, not letting her know everything, and then she gets the big shock there.
Yeah. And then Ross too, where I forget what Ross is doing, but he's trying to look, and he looks down, and he kind of is like putting his head down, and then he's like, and he starts laughing because he sees it. That's actually just a really great scene, and altogether, everyone's reactions to all of it are so good.
That's so good.
Again, we've all experienced something like that.
Right.
You just do.
Exactly.
So moving on to number 9. This will take us to number 9, and this is Sergey. So he of course, didn't speak a lick of English. So as you can imagine, this can complicate things. But he played by Jim Perry. So he was a diplomat, and Phoebe went on a date with him. And so he had a translator who eventually was invited on the date with, I think it was Mishka, to go with Monica on a date.
Mm-hmm.
And then Monica and him hit it off, and leaving Phoebe and Sergei they're not able to talk to each other because they don't know what each other are saying. So it's like facial mannerisms and all that good stuff. So it's very complicated. So you can kind of tell clearly this was a looks kind of relationship and not much more substance. They did try though. They did give it the old the good old try there, but he did not last past the episode as expected there.
I love when Monica, I forget what they said. They're like, oh, my guy has diplomatic coupons. Your guy can't even say coupons. And she just like storms out of the restaurant.
Yes, so good. Now, the next one I'm going to share is actually a 2-for-1 deal. They are my body doubles. Actually, this is number 10 and 11. So you have to pair these two together. But this is going to be Vince and Jason.
Mm-hmm.
We look exactly alike, which is phenomenal. But I'm on the screen here, so there we go. So she's got to make a decision here. She's not sure which way to go. She's into. I believe it was Jason was the teacher, and Vince was the fireman. And so when she decides to go for Jason, and then she tells Vince the decision, and then he goes into tears and he's very emotional, and she didn't think he was emotional. So now all of a sudden she's more attracted to him. Then there's a fire, and then one the other one, and so she just goes back and forth. And every time she's trying to break up with one, she sees something that turns her back into it, and it's just a whole thing.
And then don't both of them, like she kind of not confronts both of them, but like they're all three together and they both don't want her in the end or something like that because she couldn't make a choice between them. And so I love that fire part where he's like, we gotta call the fire department. She's like, no, like they'll just come. And then she's like, listen, if I wanted to see a fireman, I would date one. And they like run off together. And she's too good.
He actually uses the line that says he can't date someone who would have an open flame in the middle of a wooded area.
Right, that was a great line.
Wait, I can't remember what he was referring to in that. Like, what was he talking about there? That like she had, I can't even remember. Like what he's referring to.
There was they were having a candlelit dinner in the park.
Right.
I think that's what led to it. Yeah. So
yes, because they talk about how they went to dinner. Okay, I got what you're saying.
Yeah. Now we're keeping track here. We're at 11, and we're still in season 3. That's just.
Oh my god!
Did you go back to the picture for a second? Again, we got a family show here, our show, but here, the HR generalist in me is like, buddy, my eyes are up here. My eyes are up here. Like, okay, too many buttons open, close to one button, and my eyes are up here. What's going on there? No, look, I'm sorry.
I think the guy on the left's looking at the bear, though. I think that's.
Yes, I think he's looking at the bear, but the other guy, close him off.
Yes, right. So. Moving on, so this is one of my least favorite. He's not a bad. It's just his character again, annoying. Another one of Phoebe's annoying. But this is Larry, not the cable guy, but this is this person was like a health inspector, and so at first she found it attractive. He'd have this power, go into a restaurant and kind of shut it down. Then she realizes after a while, some of her favorite places she couldn't go to anymore. Wasn't quite into it. But so that was Larry. Do you guys, Darren, any thoughts on Larry?
Okay.
Remember
again, I'm sorry to bring up another Seinfeld reference, but Larry always reminded me of a cross between 2 Seinfeld episodes. The Close Talker, right? He's very much like the Close Talker, kind of the same look, though, the Judge Reinhold. And I always imagined him when Jerry is in the bathroom washing his hands and the guy that owns the restaurant comes out after doing some business and doesn't wash his hands. I always wondered how he would have responded to that.
Yeah. Now, this is where Phoebe makes the jump. She doesn't date anyone in season 4. So she was pure in season 4. But then back to season 5 is when she meets
Got
Because
the
she was
itch.
pregnant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
With her brother's baby.
Yep.
Yes.
She was
Now,
taken.
this next one is one of my all-time favorites, top 3 easily. I wish they could have expanded it more than they did, but I get why they didn't, because the ending, how could she still be interested? But I'm talking about, of
The
course,
best.
Gary.
Oh, this is it. This is my guy.
Yes.
Michael Rappaport. I mean, I liked his my favorite by far.
Good. There are so many funny moments with him, like the ride along is so funny. And I always say, I was at work like this is a couple months ago, and some of my coworkers there, they all know I love Friends. Everyone in my life knows I love Friends, and I'll bring up a Friends reference any chance I can get. And I can't even remember how this moment came up, but I said this reminds me of this one moment in Friends. I was like, where Phoebe's dating a cop, and they move in together. It's one of my favorite Friends moments of all time is when they move in together and they're talking and the bird is chirping in the background, and he's like, sorry, 1 second, pulls out a gun, shoots the bird like it's nothing. And so I showed my coworkers who don't really watch Friends, and all of them, even with the little context they had, were dying laughing at that scene, because that is just hilarious. Like that, what a way to end his arc. It's just everything's so good. Shoots the bird and she's just like, oh no. And
her tone was like, oh no, like
oh no.
Yeah.
I wonder, because they set him up so well, and we there was synergy, and he got along with the rest of the cast, much like Tom Selleck did, and then it was over. I was like, wow.
Yeah, the whole
did a contract negotiation not extend it? Did he, did he get another movie? Like I was shocked.
Or maybe they came up with that bird scene and they were like, "This is too good. We have to."
Yeah, no, 100%.
I don't know. To me, that moment is it's
a great scene.
Such a subtle, funny moment, and maybe it's not that subtle, but to me, it's like it's not one of those big moments that people are going to talk about, but it is hilarious.
But it's famous.
I would love to see a question from the crowd from him or something in the reunion show, because even though he was there for a short time, he was so impactful. Definitely, like you said, Darren, he was your favorite. Definitely up there in the top 3, for sure. Now
from
this
New
next
York,
one,
he just had the whole Friends,
And then the ride along episode, that whole moment is just so funny, and the way and he works with the guys so well. They had really good chemistry. That's one thing I bring up with Paul Rudd too, is there was good chemistry there, and I think I agree with Michael Rappaport. He had great chemistry with
He did, yeah. Now the next 3, I'm going to show them one at a time. The next 3 were very forgettable. Like if you're not a diehard, neither of these 3 really had any great qualities. So it seemed like she was going through a lull in season 6. But this is number 14. This is Kyle. And so Kyle, I'll kind of go over here what he was about. So Kyle, season 7. So she's season 6, nothing going on. Season 7, the one with the engagement picture. She dates Kyle, and he played basketball with Ross and Chandler. So Kyle's trying to get a divorce from his crazy wife. And then at the time, Ross dates her, which her name was Whitney. And then they defending their dates against each other. And eventually it all falls apart. And Kyle and Whitney wound up getting back together. So this is really just to serve the purpose of crazy boyfriend, crazy girlfriend, talk about them. They get back together and they moved on. So not too much there, but anything you guys want to add on to him? Or
I found it hilarious when Ross and Phoebe would fight about that, like almost fight on each other's, like their behalfs, like, it's just, I thought it was a really hilarious, like, I can't remember the exact lines, but I remember that they would get in these fights almost like as if they are the couple, but just fighting for the couple.
For the couple, yeah. So great. I will test your, so this is again, the next one, another not so well known, but let's see if you can remember just by picture here, this person here. Do you remember his name? Number 15 is the.
Oh, I do remember him. I don't remember his name though.
Okay, so that was Jake. So again, forgettable character, but yeah, that's Jake. Jake was. This was back in season 7. This is where Joey won the award, and so it looked like Jake was into Monica, but was actually into Phoebe. They go on a date, and I think it was the one with Chandler's dad. They start hanging out, but then Joey finds out that something very interesting about this guy. He actually wears women's underwear, and then Joey tries to tell others about it. And she said, "Oh yeah, I let him wear it," and then he starts wearing it, and this whole melee ensues. But
shenanigans.
but what's weird is after this episode, Jake's never seen from again. They didn't actually officially break up, so maybe they're still together to this day. I don't
Wow.
know. But that was interesting. I think that's the one that maybe if you do want to say one thing about him, it's that they never officially broke up. So
wow,
there is that.
little known fact.
Little known fact. Yes.
They never hugged.
Yeah. Mom said, yeah. Jake the one. Yep. Yep. So we are at 15 and we're starting to get towards the end there, but there are still some more. And then that, of course, the next one on the list, again, not as well known, but this is Tim. Tim was also in season 8, actually. And this is poor Tim because he worked for Monica, but he was not very good in the restaurant. So they go on a date. He's just kind of too nice of a guy, too affectionate of a guy. And then eventually Monica wants to let him go from the store or from the restaurant. And Phoebe wants to break up with him at the same day. And they go back and forth because they can't do it the same day. And then I think they eventually both do. And
yeah.
And then I think poor Monica had to get him back. And Phoebe's like, you take care, So she
Yeah,
didn't quite live up to her end of the bargain.
Oh yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah. So that was a good one. So now, Darren, I'm going to let you kind of, because I know you're going to know this guy, whether you remember him or not. I'm sure you do. But this is the next one we're going to cover, number 17. And this is, again, a weird storyline, but this is Eric. And again, very well-known actor, Sean Penn. So any your thoughts on that whole weird relationship with him and Ursula and Phoebe and trying to make it work and that whole sorts of thing?
Well, if you're of a certain age, Sean Penn, who's just a dramatic, wonderful actor, but I'm sorry, he'll forever be the guy from Fast Times at Ridgemont High, right? And so, which is a great movie. Man, nice jacket. But he was just a goofy, again, kind of launching pad for everybody else, big star. But I loved watching him there because he really is so versatile. He can play somebody very serious, and he could play somebody who is a goofball like this guy. Right. And, walking around with the, constellation on his shirt.
Yeah.
Which, how many people did that for their science project back in the day? Like, I think everybody did. And not only they did it because they didn't do any, they woke up the morning that it was due and was like, oh crap, I didn't do anything. And yes, mom says yes. He even couldn't look at her because he reminded of Ursula. Yep,
yeah.
Exactly.
True story. I did. True story, Mike. Because you bring that up, Mr. Seidman's class, 6th grade. Oh, Mr. Stewartman. I'm sorry. And I remember I got just a bunch of aluminum foil, made balls, and I took a flashlight and white piece of paper. And he said, "You did like a CF on this, didn't you?" Almost kind of condescending. And you know me, right? Even back then, I'm like, skinny kid with a big head. I look like a human has. Right? So I remember he goes, "You did a CF?" And I go, "Yeah."
Yep.
C's passing.
Right?
Yep.
It's just triumphant walk back.
That's good. No, I love that story. We are, so now we're nearing the end. We're almost there. Definitely by far, I think, Leah, you'll recognize this guy, but he is the most creepy of them all. This is,
oh my God,
this is Jim, good old Jim. She thought it was fate, but not so much. So you want to share a little bit about Jimbo?
Yeah, he was just an extreme creep, and he writes erotic novels for children that apparently is very successful, which I think is the creepiest part that he has to add in, that they're very successful. So I don't know who's buying that for their child. And then him saying, oh, what did he say? Like, you like to party? I think you're like a party girl or something like that. Like, he's just so creepy there. And then the erotic novels for children is like, just book it out of there. Like,
Yes.
But it's so disturbing, but it's so funny at the same time.
Yeah, and he had the what do you call it? Like he was like a 3-year, or a third grader. He just really thought, that it just didn't connect. But I think it served its purpose for what it has to be. What do you call it? So again, not a big, did make a big impact. Just like she said, creepy guy, and it's pretty much that there. What do you call it? Now, the next one I'm going to get to in a minute because this one did not. Okay. This would also be in my top 3. I loved everything about this next character that I'm going to show. Again, we're very close to the end. But this is Parker. And those of you that remember Parker, again, well-known actor. But just, it was gold because he was the happiest man on earth. He should be working in Disney World. Obviously, he was just happy about everything. And just the ending when they had their first fight and just so much. So, Leah, if you want to share a little bit about Parker, because he was comedy gold. I loved him in this episode.
So funny. I feel like there's so many, like when I see him, there's so many quotes of his that come to mind. Just of things that he said to the well, first of all, I love that what Phoebe says to him, that you're like Santa Claus on Prozac in Disneyland getting laid. It's like, it's just the perfect way. She's like, I'm a happy person. You're like Santa Claus on Prozac in Disneyland getting laid is iconic words. And one of my favorite things, again, just like the subtle lines that really get me, is when they're getting ready to leave for the anniversary party, and Ross says, okay, well, I think we got to go because the cabs are about to be here soon. He goes, classic Ross. Like, I just met the guy 2 seconds ago and it's already classic Ross. Like,
yes.
And the mental picture, I have to take a mental picture of you all, and I also love when him and Phoebe are going back to her apartment, and he gets in her apartment. He goes, wow, what a beautifully well lit hallway. Like, it's just everything.
It's been my favorite quote,
so
and I'm
good.
taking now. This is from fanfare.com, so I want to give them the credit. But this quote here from Parker, it says, "What a great night! I have to tell you, being here with all of you in Event Room C, I feel so lucky. I think of all the good times that happened here: the birthdays, the proms, the mitzvahs, both bar and bot. Nothing will compare to tonight. My God, I don't want tonight to end." Just classic, so good. Again,
so
it wouldn't
good.
be good if not delivered the correct way. Like, I'm sure that they had different people come in. I imagine he wasn't the only one in there, and so, yep, that was Parker. Now,
so good.
Here's where things get interesting. So, we could go on to the final person, I think this next person's honorable mention. So we're not going to go ahead and put him on the list, but we'd be remiss if we didn't cover the very infamous Vikram. Now, little is known about Vikram. Darren, have you ever seen Vikram? Like, do you remember?
Well, I will tell you this again. Let's make it a trifecta. There he is, still not wearing pants, but we love my friend. He's my friend. But did you know this? That Vikram worked at Vandalay Industries.
He probably did.
Oh,
Lee, do you know what that reference is?
No, I don't.
Okay, so again, here's how this is that whole New York sense of humor and everything else. George was trying to get unemployment, but so he had to pretend that he was looking for work. So he was saying that he was working at Vandalay Industries as what was some sort of salesman. Vandalay Industries doesn't exist. There is no Vandalay Industries. So it sounds like a place where a fake boyfriend would work at a fake place. There you go. Connecting. That's what we do.
He definitely worked there then.
Yes. And then, of course, but yeah, Vikram, it's just a story made up to basically throw curveball at the last person we're going to show here is Mike, of course. But so basically, Vikram was created in Ross's mind to try to, because Mike thought that Phoebe never had a serious boyfriend except for super serious boyfriend Vikram, and then the whole thing spiraled out of control. He made it so much worse. He was trying to make things better. So, final thoughts, Leah, on Mike. And you mentioned you loved his character, and then Darren, you can comment right after. But what did you love most? Do you think about Mike? Like, what worked about Mike?
It was just the perfect casting. I don't know, with Paul Rudd, he was just the perfect casting. It's like I didn't know we needed him in Friends, but it worked so well. I always think of him almost as like the honorary seventh friend. He fits in there, I think, even just looks wise too. He just looks like he belongs on the show. His comedy is really good. We all know Paul Rudd can do really great comedy. And he worked really well with Phoebe because she's really eccentric and odd, and I mean that in a good way. And then he is like the complete opposite, where he's almost like more toned down, regular, but really meets with her so well and loves her for all the weirdness that she is. And I thought that I love that the writers saw all that and was like, yes, he's gonna be her forever person. They're gonna get married. It worked so well to me, and I loved Paul Rudd on the show.
Yes. Darren, what are your thoughts on Paul Rudd? Because everything you said, I nothing more I could say. He was fantastic.
So, I mean, you both know this, and our viewers know this, but as somebody who's done 2 documentaries, which are totally different than sitcoms, but I know this. It's very hard to have a very, very well-known actor who's very funny in his own right and come onto a show and not try to overtake it, not try to undertake it either. Like, there are some people who just go on a show, and I think we mentioned some tonight, and for all the right reasons, kind of undersell their performance. Boy, Paul Rudd can just hit that perfect, complimentary, this is what we do. And it was he was just wonderful in it.
Yes. And Mom brings up the one where she had to meet the parents, and there was a pimp, and it was just so bad. And she had the accent, and no matter what she did, you know, the father just got had a scar surgery or surgery from scar, something like that, and she messed that up. And why wouldn't you? You know, oh my God, so good. He didn't care.
That
and
is really
still left
good.
Together, and they had the most boring friends in the history of the world. And God, so good. So if you're counting at home, folks, that's 20 on-screen boyfriends for Phoebe. There were 2 or 3 other ones that were mentioned by name but never shown, so we don't count those. So counting at home, 20 is the final number. I believe that is more than anyone else on the show. Definitely more than Monica, more than Rachel, for sure. So I think I would imagine Joey would be obviously the one that would have the most, but he probably can't remember half their names either, so it'd be hard for us to do the same thing.
And Phoebe even had that like little black book that she gives to Rachel, I think in like season 9 or something like that. So there's probably like even more names that they mention there. So I can't even imagine like in total how many we see on the show.
Yeah, and the last thing I'll hear, you know, as time's coming to close and everything, definitely the fastest hour. But
this was great.
My coworker was sharing with me the other day. She's like, "Oh yeah, I just watched the first 2 episodes of season 1 of Friends." I was like, "Oh, you're rewatching it?" She's like, "Oh no, I've never seen the show before. It's pretty funny." I was like, "How are you watching?" Like, I can see if you haven't watched all of them, because if you're watching them on TV, you may miss a couple here and there. But like, how have you? And she's in her late 50s. Like, how have you not watched 1 episode ever? Like, I call fakes. I don't know.
Right. I'm jealous though. I would love to watch Friends for the very first time again. I can't even.
Now, If they were, and Darren, I would like to get your thoughts as we close on this. If there was ever a show that ever connects just on that level again, right? Like, how great would it have been if they just, and you know, of course, we're not going to film 2 to 3 to 4 episodes, put it in the vault, never speak of it, and now 20 years later, we get not them in their 50s or 60s, but we get 4 unreleased, never before seen episodes. If Tupac can release albums 7 years after he passed, why can't we get more episodes of Friends? That's a reference to you, Darren, earlier talking about Tupac. But your thoughts on that, and then we'll wrap this thing up.
Well, can I go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I don't want to. No, I'm kidding. We actually got that one time And if you remember, The Honeymooners was only on for one season, but The Honeymooners was part of the Jackie Gleason show. So there used to be snippets, 10, 15-minute kind of, it was just a little segment. So what WPIX did and some others was they put those all together. So we never saw those before. So it was actually predated the show, The Honeymooners. And it's wonderful when you get to see that. I would love to have seen that with a show called Odd Couple. I would have loved to have seen that with All in the Family, which would have been iconic. And I mentioned the show earlier also, The Golden Girls. I couldn't get enough of that show. That show really is funny. It's right up there with Friends.
So good.
Yeah. I mean, well, we talk about the show, like that show again is a staple that you just rewatch over and over, and you miss things and stuff. Didn't get into that one as much, but I still enjoy it. You think most men did enjoy that show, but they did. They probably did a lot more than they laid on. So, but Leah, any final thoughts as we wrap this thing up? Just wanted to thank you again for jumping on with us. This is a lot of fun. The idea came to me. I was like, oh, we got to have you back on. I know we said we would at some point, and so I'm glad it worked out.
And so
me
too. I enjoy coming on here with you guys. Yeah. What were you saying?
Definitely makes me want to put on the pull out the box DVDs and watch specific episodes later. Now that we've covered some of these, rather than just whatever the next one is.
Yes, I agree.
Just a couple shout outs before we.
I know we're leaving, but I got one quick question. Top of your head, real quick, and ladies first, if you don't mind, Leah. If you could only have one of the people from Friends in their prime as your friend, who would it be?
Jennifer Aniston, 100%. I'm just a huge are you talking about one of the friends or one of the cast members?
Cast members.
That one of the cast, yeah, Jennifer Aniston. I've always been a huge fan of Jennifer Aniston, so that's an easy pick for me. She seems like I would take her now. What about you guys?
Man, I mean, I think I would agree. I know that's weird, but because I think Joey would be fun, but like there's some times where I would need like a legit answer and he wouldn't be able to help me out. And then Chandler he's going to tell jokes at the inappropriate time. And although he'd make me laugh, like I feel like I would need someone to be serious. And then Ross would probably drive me and Monica would drive me up a wall. And then Phoebe's quirkiness is great, but at some point, you need. So I think I would say Rachel. Now, she wasn't my favorite character on the show or whatever, but if I had to pick one, I think that's the route I would go. Darren?
Maybe the most normal.
As real human beings, not the character, not to get whatever, but, I did the work with addiction, still kind of do. I would have loved to, Matthew Perry, I thought he had quite the acting career too for a while, and funny, organically funny. I feel like I could have helped him, without getting or whatever. But and then as the characters, believe it or not, Ross.
Really?
Yeah, because he is so full of anxiety. That was
what about a cross country road trip though? Could you handle that with Ross and the?
No, I'd rather be with the monkey.
Yes,
I love the monkey too.
As we wrap this, just a couple quick shout outs again. The big thing coming up for us, actually two big things. Saturday, December the 6th, if you are local to the Palm Bay, Florida area, you're going to want to come out for the Palm Bay Parade. We're going to be part of it. The On the Ballpark podcast and National Tax Solutions together, teaming up with our powers combined. That's going to be awesome. And then on Saturday, December the 20th, the Family Christmas Extravaganza. We will be live there. Darren will be live. Eileen will be live. We'll have a dunk tank. We'll have a dunk team, hopefully. And you're going to get to come up and meet us. We're going to have on the top 3 finalists from the Extravaganza's Got Talent show earlier in the day before they go on for the finals. We'll have them on. We might even invite some of you guys that come out on the show as well. And then you'll get to dunk some of our team members and that sort of stuff. And you come, you subscribe and have fun, throw the ball, and it'll be a great time. Super, super excited. It's a big deal for us. So really much looking forward to that. And then, of course, we'll be live back this coming Thursday again at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. So you want to make sure you're here. We'll let you know what that's going to be about here in the upcoming days. But thank you both so much for making this happened tonight. Super excited that we got to do this. I'm going to go watch some more episodes of Friends now. So until next time, guys, we'll see you around the ballpark.